V8. Return to the base immediately. Back to 1985 on ChinnyVision, and we're looking at the last V8, a Mostronic game on their Mad label that was $2.99. The game design was done by Richard Darling and the programming by David Darling, and the music for the game by Rob Hubbard. So here on the C64, every time you start the game, you start off with a speech. You have to drive your way through the level to the base. And you've got to control your car around the roads here, and you've got to beat the time limit, so you can't be too slow. Oh, and yeah, if you as much as touch the scenery, you're dead. The Rob Hubbard music is a real high point on this game. And unfortunately you can't skip the speech at the start of every game, you only get one life. Giving this another go. You'll notice the game is running in effectively a letterbox at the top of the screen. Got a big status panel in the middle of the screen, then a little last V8 logo down the bottom. I notice it's created by David Darling, he's credited it for it. But nothing but for Richard Darling. I'll slow down for the corners. The control system is really, really fiddly. You'd think it would be like supercars where you hold down fire and then turn the car with the joystick. No, you've got to, with this, it's up and down to turn and left and right. Left to go faster and right to go slower. It's really, really fiddly. It's broken in effect. You just forget which way you get the corners there. You want to go down and you can't, and oh, it's gone wrong again. It's just a complete nightmare to control. And this is something the press of the day flagged up on the game, that it was incredibly difficult and the controls were difficult to use as well. Zap complemented the game's graphics and sound, but were incredibly harsh on the gameplay, which is fair. I'm letting the game play through itself on the demo version here, just so we can get a bit further into the level. So we've gone past where I crashed. There's shortcuts you can take on the levels as well, but you've got to be careful where you take the shortcuts. The computer makes this look oh so easy, but it's not. And you've also got to know really where the route is, because it's easy to end up going the wrong way. So this should be heading down towards the base now. One last corner, there's a corner here, he's going over the grass into the base. Right, on to level 2, and this is the city level. You've got to get through this level, avoiding the radiation. Yes, I know. And I'm not playing this now, this is the computer playing it. There's no way I could get this far without cheating. You mustn't hang around in certain levels too long, or there'll be radiation. And if the radiation reaches too much, you die. The corners on this level are even more fiddly than the corners on the first level, because they're all 90-degree turns. Finding your way around the level is a test of memory, because unlike level 1, which is fairly linear with a few turns off, this isn't. It's interesting to note that the Darlings later founded Codemasters, and it would be interesting to think what they would say to a game that turned up on their doorstep with the awful control issues this game suffers from. The game was also ported to the Amstrad CPC. There was no Spectrum version, which came as a massive surprise to me. The graphics on the bottom status panel has been ported over from the Commodore 64 by the looks of it. The top gameplay area, though, is in Mode 1 medium resolution on the Amstrad, so there's a split mode thing going on here. It is, however, incredibly slow. As you can see, it jerks along. It's just incredibly slow to play. The music's nowhere near as good as well. It's a bit tuneless here on the Amstrad. Same control problems. No one's actually looked at this when converting it, saying, there's a problem with the controls in the Commodore 64 version. We'll fix that and make it better on the Amstrad. No, you're lumbered with the exact same rubbish controls on the Amstrad. The standard Commodore 64, the Amstrad and the Atari versions, which you're going to see later, both have 2 levels. If you've got a Commodore 128, you get... Oh, it's gone now. You get 3 levels. There's an extra level for the Commodore 128 owners. So that's the Amstrad version. Over to the Atari. Even more basic music on here. Neither the Amstrad or the Atari version have speech. The colours are slightly out here. The reds are pink. Back to smooth scrolling. Tune's not very good here on the Atari either. It's a bit more controllable. It's the same rubbish control system, but it's a bit more controllable than the Commodore 64 and Amstrad versions. That said, the car doesn't tend to drift up and down the... same problem as ever, just... Oh! Your instinct says to turn the joystick more, and reality is to turn left and right, you've got to go up or down. To accelerate, you've got to go left, and to brake, you've got to press right, and it's just confusing and stupid, and it would have been so easy to fix this with a better control system, but it's just... Why didn't... This would have been such a simple thing to fix, but I don't think anybody cared. A little bit easy to get through these twisty sections in the Commodore 64 version. I'm going to have a cropper any second, I just know it, I'm just trying my best here. Just going around the corner is just horrible. Last V8 is a game people talk about a lot, mainly for the music, and yes, the music is absolutely fantastic. However, when it comes to gameplay, all 3 versions are severely lacking. I'm afraid it's a control system problem at the end of the day. You can look at all the different problems with the conversions, the Amstrad version being a bit slow, and the Atari version just being a little bit off from where it could be, but they're all hampered with this rubbish control system. If it had a control system like Supercars or any other top-down racer, it would work, or at least it would work better. But it doesn't. They've persisted with this stupid left to go faster, right to slow down, and then up and down to turn your car. It's insane. It just does not work. It's confusing. It's confusing when you're going around a map where on twisty roads you're having to try and remember where you're going, and just one twitch of the joystick and you come crashing off and it's game over. And then to add insult to injury, you have to listen to all that speech again at the beginning for the Commodore 64 version. Zap 64 originally didn't give this game a very good score at all, but they did say the graphics and the music were good. I'd agree with that. I'm afraid it's a game hampered by absolutely horrific control issues, and although it's a very nice idea, it's a game that's frustrating and no fun to play at all.